Do you want to enjoy Christmas without the guilt of overindulgence? In this episode, I'm sharing practical tips to help you integrate healthy habits into your Christmas celebration while still having fun. You'll learn how to approach Christmas meals, managing alcohol consumption, and staying active so that you can wake up on December 26th feeling better than ever. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a game plan to make this Christmas your healthiest and happiest yet. Before we dive in, if you're listening on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow button. And if you're watching on YouTube, then make sure you hit like and subscribe down below. All right, you guys, we are 7 days away. We are a week away from Christmas Day. I am so excited. I absolutely love the holiday season, and man, oh man, Christmas is just the best. I know me at this current point in time, I have finished the 10-week transformations. I'm actually currently, as you're listening to this, taking a little vacation with my wife. We're spending some time in a tiny house. I'm really excited about it. And it's going to be a blast. And I know that me and her are going to be doing some reflection on this past year and some goal planning for the next year. And in a couple of 10WT Tips episodes, we're going to be talking about my proven framework called the Hexagon of Competence on how to set your goals for 2025 in a strategic, intentional, and well-rounded way. So make sure you stay tuned for that in a couple of weeks. But today we're going to be talking about healthy hacks to make sure that your Christmas is healthier than normal without sacrificing any joy. But before we dive into that, I want to let you know that I'm starting to do some free discovery calls. I am really excited because I want to hop on a call with you. I want to hop on a call with you, me and you, face-to-face via Zoom, and talk about your goals. I want to hear about where you currently are with your nutritional habits, where you currently are with your fitness habits. No judgment whatsoever. You could be the person who has been working out religiously and you really want to take it to another level. You could be somebody who hasn't worked out in a few years and you want to get back into it. I want to talk to you and know where you're at and what your goals are, and I would love to be the person to help you make that next step. So go to nickcarrier.com and book your free discovery call with me today. Again, nickcarrier.com. There's a few quick questions that you'll answer, so I have a little bit of context going into our conversation, and I'm looking forward to talking with you. Go to nickcarrier.com to book that call today. But let's get into the episode. So I'm going to preview the list of tips and healthy hacks with the fact that you don't have to do any of these things. None of these things are things that you actually have to do in order to achieve your health and fitness goals. You can go into Christmas not doing any of these things. You can go into Christmas doing a lot of these things. More than anything, I want you to be intentional going into Christmas Day. And now that we're a week away, you have a full 7-day runway in order to be intentional and figure out, okay, how do I want to handle Christmas? And you can kind of take some of these recommendations and some of these strategies and some of these hacks to any Christmas parties that you have between now and then as well. So keep that in mind. But I just know that when it comes to holiday parties, when it comes to Christmas, when it comes to any kind of holidays, it's not like you have to be super healthy, but I would recommend that for most people, it's beneficial to be healthier than normal. Because more than anything, it's about being intentional. Like there's a difference between being intentionally a slob and eating all the things you want to eat and being super sedentary. And there's a difference between an unintentional slob and just doing that mindlessly and not consciously without any kind of purpose. And when you leave that situation, if you're intentional, you feel fine about it. You don't have that much regret. If you're unintentional and mindless, then you're probably a little bit more regretful about some of the things that you did. So more than anything, you don't have to do any of this. I just want you to be intentional about how you handle Christmas Day, because I know that some of you have been working really hard this year on your body composition, and one bad day can sometimes throw you through a tizzy, and you don't want that to happen this Christmas, because I know some of you don't want to make Christmas super, super healthy, but you also don't want to go overboard. And so here are some tips to do Christmas different, making it better than it could be, healthier than it normally would be, so that you can wake up December 26th, the day after Christmas, feeling much better than you ever have in the past on the day after Christmas. So let's get into the list of 6 things that you can do for healthy hacks on Christmas Day. Number 1 is work out on Christmas morning, whether that's before stockings, after stockings, at some point, get some sort of exercise in. Now, this workout doesn't have to be the highest intensity workout of all time. You don't have to lift any kind of PRs with strength training. You don't have to run any kind of crazy distance. Get some sort of movement in. Get some sort of physical activity in. This could be as little as a 20-minute walk. This could be as something like a 30-minute walk. It could be 30 minutes of strength training. You could drop it down on the floor and do 15 minutes of push-ups and sit-ups and push-ups and sit-ups and squats, plank holds, whatever you want, but do something. Do something physically active to prove to yourself that you are committed to doing something physically active even on a holiday. I think you'll get a big boost in confidence, and you're not even going to have a boost in confidence. You're going to feel better the rest of the day having done some sort of exercise. So I would try as best you can to work out on Christmas morning. Invite your family members to work out with you. Some of them are going to roll their eyes. Some of them aren't going to do it. Some of them are going to make fun of you. Who freaking cares? Be different. Do Christmas different this year. Work out on Christmas morning. 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever you have available to you, get it in. Second thing is attack Christmas breakfast intentionally. I have a few different options that you can kind of take here. Now, again, you can take these options, you can leave these options, whatever you want. The first thing that you could do is eat your protein and your fruit first. Now, those are two things that often people have on their plate at breakfast. So you could eat your eggs, your bacon, your sausage, or your fruit, your bananas, your berries, whatever kind of fruit you guys have. That will allow you to feel fuller early on and prevent you from overeating. So that's the first way that you could potentially attack Christmas breakfast to make it healthier than it would normally otherwise be. The second way you could attack it, and you can add this on or just do this, is have only one, quote, fun item on your plate, if you will, something that's more of on the unhealthy side. This will help you with portion control. You know, if you have biscuits, have a biscuit. If you've got French toast casserole, have some French toast casserole. I know that I will, because it's typically something that my family has on Christmas morning. If there's muffins, have a muffin, but don't have all three of them. Don't have a biscuit and a muffin and French toast casserole. One way that you can really ensure that you not only do portion control, but you also feel better after breakfast is by choosing one unhealthy item. That'll ensure that your blood sugar levels don't spike and then crash. It will also ensure that you're not excessively full, and it will obviously make sure that you don't overdo it on calories. So the first thing that you could do is eat protein and fruit first to make sure you're filled up earlier on. The second thing that you could do is have only one fun item on your plate. So that's Christmas breakfast. So we have workout on Christmas morning, attack Christmas breakfast intentionally, and number 3 is manage your alcohol consumption. There's 4 different options that you can potentially choose from an alcohol standpoint. And the first one is don't start drinking until a particular point in time during the day. That's for you to decide. What is healthier than what you would normally be? Are you the type of person who cracks open champagne with breakfast at 9 a.m. in the morning? Can you push it back to 10 or 11? Are you the person who maybe starts drinking at 1 p.m.? Are you the person who starts drinking at 3 p.m.? Can you push it back an additional hour or an additional hour and a half or an additional 2 hours than normal? Because that might spare you 1, 2, 3 drinks that you would typically have in the past, but not have this time. So the first option is don't start drinking until a particular time. The second option is have a certain number of drinks before dinner. Only allow yourself a certain number of drinks before dinner, because that will oftentimes limit how much total alcohol you consume as well. A third option is you can set a stop drinking by time. That is a huge one with regards to how you're going to feel the next day, and also sometimes mindless extra drinks can creep in as the night goes on, as you're having a good time, you're having conversations, and people are pouring refills, people are grabbing each other drinks. You can set a stop drinking by time that works for you. If you would normally stop drinking at midnight, can you make it 11? If you would normally start drinking at 10, can you stop at 9 or 9:30? And then the last option is to have a glass of water in between every drink or every 2 drinks. If that will help potentially slow you down and keep you hydrated and make you feel better the next day, that's a great option as well. So number 3 was managing alcohol consumption by selecting one or multiple of those options. Number 4 is how to attack Christmas dinner. Now, this one is a little bit more simple. I have 3 different things here. You could decide that you're going to have 1 plate of food, or you could decide that you're going to have 2 plates of food. I know me personally, I love enjoying a big dinner, and I am going to feel maybe more full than I would typically want to feel after Christmas dinner. And I'm completely fine with that. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not going to regret it. So me personally, I'm going to have 2 plates of dinner. You know, the second plate might not be super full, but I'm going to have 2 plates of dinner at Christmas dinner, you could have one, you could have one and a half, you could have one and then just a little bit of something for the second, but come up with a plan that works for you. And then the other thing you could do is when you're eating Christmas dinner, eat your protein and veggies first as well. That'll ensure you're fuller faster to ensure you don't overconsume. So that was number 4, how to attack Christmas dinner. Number 5 is Christmas dessert. And I'm simply making it, you can have one or you could have 2. I mean, obviously if you select intentionally that you're going to have 3, go for it. Just be intentional with how much dessert you're going to consume if that is something that you feel like you want to manage to a certain extent. So let's go through those first 5 again, and then I'll get to the 6th. Number 1 is work out on Christmas morning, whatever duration works best for you. Number 2 is attacking Christmas breakfast intentionally. You could eat your protein and fruit first, or you could have one fun item on your plate. Number 3 is managing alcohol consumption by not starting to drink until a particular time, having a certain number of drinks before dinner, stopping drinking by a particular time, or having a glass of water in between every drink or every 2 drinks. 4th was how to attack Christmas dinner. You could have 1 plate, 2 plates, eat your protein and veggies first. Lastly, we talked about Christmas dessert, just figuring out the quantity that you would purposefully like to consume and not mindlessly consume. The 6th one is going to be a few different options to increase your level of activity throughout the day to both feel better and obviously burn just a few extra calories. But the first one is go on a walk before dinner. The second one is go on a walk after dinner. And the third one is do 15 push-ups per quarter during the football game. If you're somebody who watches football and you're watching the football game, that could be a little way to have a little fun and have people make fun of you during the middle of the football game, is drop down and knock out a certain number of push-ups every quarter. And those are for people, if you didn't work out that day, get a little bit of extra activity in. You invite your family members and see who can do the best push-ups during that particular point in time. So that's the 6th and final tip. But you guys, again, the purpose of this is just to show yourself that you have a commitment to your health. It's to show yourself that your health still matters on days like this, because believe it or not, your body doesn't know it's Christmas Day. Your body doesn't know the difference between having dessert on Christmas Day versus having dessert on June 3rd. Your body doesn't realize any difference between the two of those things. And now look, I'm not saying that in order to achieve your goals, you have to do any of these things, because in reality, you don't. One day of overindulgence isn't going to make or break things physiologically. But we know that health and fitness is not just a physiological game. It's also a mental and psychological game. And we know that psychologically, we can often let one unhealthy day turn into 2, and then let 2 days turn into a week, and then into 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. So you have to know you and how you operate. If you can splurge and be mentally fine with it and get right back on track, go for it. That's going to be somewhat me personally. I mean, I will still like to find some ways to integrate health into my day. I'm going to be working out on Christmas morning in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to be limiting my alcohol consumption in some way, shape, or form. But I know that I'm going to get right back on track because I have the perspective of the big picture. I can zoom out and realize that one bad day isn't going to kill me. So just you, whichever way you go, I want you to realize that the most important thing about it is to go about the day intentionally and not mindlessly. Now, before I leave you today, I want to remind you that I'm doing free discovery calls. I want you to go to nickcarrier.com to book a call with me. It will be literally me and you face to face on Zoom, and I want to hear where you're at. I want to hear where your current state of fitness is, your current state of nutrition is, and where you want to be, because at the beginning of the year, it's really important to gain clarity for how you want to move forward and how you want to finish this year better than you started it. And I want to be that person who helps to support you and hold you accountable and encourages you along the way. So go to nickcarrier.com to book that call today. Other than that, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit the like button down below. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify, make sure you hit the follow button. Feel free to share this episode with a friend or family member. Maybe you share this episode with a family member who you're going to be with on Christmas Day, and you come up with a plan together to make it healthier than it would otherwise be, because that's the key. If we can be healthier than we would otherwise be, we'll have positive momentum to finish off the year, and we can make 2025 the best start of the year possible. That's the goal. The goal is to help you become the healthiest version of yourself and ultimately get closer and closer to your best you.